The Nats Chat end-of-season podcast party will be at Walters at 7 p.m. on Friday night, October 10th. Spread the word among your friends. We're aiming for our highest attendance yet to celebrate our 5th season of coverage. Walters is located across the street from the ballpark.
Honey, do not make plans Saturday, September 13th, okay?
Why? What's happening?
The Walmart Wellness Event. Flu shots, health screenings, free samples from those brands you like.
All that at Walmart.
We can just walk right in, no appointment needed. Who knew we could cover our health and wellness needs at Walmart?
Check the calendar, Saturday, September 13th.
Walmart Wellness Event. You knew.
I knew.
Check in on your health at the same place you already shop. Visit Walmart Saturday, September 13th for our semi-annual wellness event. Flu shot subject to availability and applicable state law. Age restrictions apply. Free samples while supplies last.
Junk from the stretch, kicks, throws. And a swing and a long drive right field. Forget about it. That one headed for the upper tank. It's long gone. 5 rows into the second deck. Garcia makes it 1-0 Nationals. Center of the rubber, the set, the pitch. Fastball driven deep left field for Cruz. Way back it goes, and it is long gone. A 3-run homer for Dylan Cruz, and the Nationals have busted it wide open. It's 8-1.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Down the pitch. Swing and a long drive to right field. Forget about it. Going, and gone. Goodbye. Bang, zoom goes Josh Bell with his 2nd home run of the night and his 19th of the year. And he has driven in 5 runs in the game tonight. And the Nationals continue to pour it on here in Miami. 2 more runs across the plate here in the top of the 7th inning. It's now the Nationals 13 and the Marlins 2.
And welcome to Nats Chat, along with MASNsports.com Nationals insider Mark Zuckerman, who is at LoanDepot Park in Miami. I'm Al Galdi, host of the Al Galdi podcast. This is amazing, but it also is true. The Nationals have not been eliminated from playoff contention. Yes, you heard that right. The Nats in this dismal season, technically speaking, are mathematically alive in terms of postseason contention. Google up your National League wildcard standings. You will not see an E, as in eliminated, next to the Nats. Now, I'll let you decide whether keeping up with the National League playoff picture is worth doing as a Nats fan right now. But the Nats now have won 6 of their last 7 games, all in this month of September. The Nats are 6-1 in this September. Monday evening, a 15-7 win at the Miami Marlins in Game 1 of a 4-game series. So this was a game for which the official attendance at LoanDepot Park was 7,992. But those loyal fans got treated to quite the offensive showing by the Nats, who in MLB's 2025 regular season now are 59-84. Worst record in the National League East, yes. Second worst record in the National League, yes. And yet, the Nats have not been eliminated from playoff contention. So you're saying there's a chance. You can find us on X at Nats_chat. You can find us on Blue Sky at Nats Chat Podcast. You can email us natschatpodcast@gmail.com. And we have a website that you could check out too, natschatpodcast.com, at which you can purchase a Nats Chat Podcast t-shirt. This installment of Nats Chat brought to us by Mason Kalfas, the top legal recruiter in Washington, D.C. Mason has been with us since our first season. You can reach him at 202-486-3535. Coming up on the show, a concerning update on Nats catcher Keibert Ruiz. But Mark, do you have pennant fever? Should we have pennant fever? The Nats, and I'm sure this surprises people, technically, officially, still have not been eliminated from playoff contention.
Well, I'm not going to quite go that far to, reserve my playoff tickets just yet. Al, I think they may have to win a few more games, although the way they've been playing against the Marlins, anything would seem possible right now. Here's what I will say that this nice little stretch over the last week has done. We were at a point there where we were talking about 100 losses as very much in play, maybe even becoming more likely than not for this team. Well, they're now at 59-84. They just need to go 4-15 the rest of the way to avoid 100 losses. And I know it's not saying much that that's what the goal is at this point, but given the better performance, given the schedule kind of easing up on them down the stretch, I feel like in the end, we're not even really going to be talking about anything close to 100. It might be more around 95. And that doesn't make it a good season, not even close to it, of course. But 100 losses would have been especially embarrassing given the expectations coming into this season. And unless they completely collapse the rest of the way, as I said, they would have to go 3-16 now to lose 100 games. I think that one's off the table. So that it's the little things that you cling to at this point. I don't think we're going to be talking about a 100-loss season in the end.
And I think with how bad the season has gone, if the Nats can end the season with a winning September or at least a 500 September, it's something for the Nats fan to cling to. It's, at least a semblance of enjoyment from this season, which just has not been especially enjoyable for anyone who's a Nats fan. It's really been a harsh season, but September so far has been a lot of fun. I mean, this game on Monday evening was batting practice for the Nats. 15 runs, 19 hits, 4 walks, 9 for 20 with runners in scoring position. The 19 hits were 4 home runs, 4 doubles, and 11 singles. The Nats scored at least 1 run in 6 of the 9 innings, including scoring 6 runs in the top of the 5th. Josh Bell had 6 RBI. He is the Nats starting first baseman and number 3 batter, went 4 for 6 with 2 2-run homers and 2 RBI singles. But the guy who did the best in terms of guys who you really are focusing on right now, and the guy whose performance I think made you feel the best from this game, Dylan Cruz. Man, did he need a good game, and he had a good game. Cruz is the Nats starting right fielder and number 8 batter, 3 for 5 with a 3-run homer, an RBI single, and another single. Cruz in the Nats' 6-run 5th, a 2-out, 3-run homer to left field to put the Nats up 8-1. The homer going a projected 409 feet per StatCast. Cruz came into this game with the following stats at the major league level this regular season: 250 plate appearances, OPS of just 612. You combine that with him missing nearly 3 months due to that left oblique strain. This in many ways has felt like a lost season for Dylan Cruz. But he on Monday evening was good, and it was so good to see him do as he did.
This was his best game in a long time. And it wasn't just the home run. As nice as the home run was, to see him actually connect on a ball like that. By the way, his first home run since May 20th, that's the same night that he pulled the oblique that knocked him out for 3 months. That's a long time. And I know he missed a huge chunk, but he had not hit for any kind of power since returning. He hadn't driven in a run in his last 14 games. His batting average coming into this game was 199. So for him to have a good night, I think is very significant. The home run's great. I also think the RBI single in the 4th, it sounds silly to say in a game that wound up being a blowout. That was an important hit. It was a 1-1 game at that point. It's 2 outs, man in scoring position, and he ripped the single up the middle at over 100 miles an hour to drive in the go-ahead run, and then showed off the hustle to get to second base. He's called out initially on that play, and he immediately motioned to the dugout, say, no, challenge that one. He knew that he had eluded the tag. It was a very impressive effort on his part to do that. That's the kind of stuff that we know Dylan Cruz can do. Yes, you want to see him hit for power and everything else, but we know he plays the game hard. As he described it afterwards, he said he's going to keep playing with his hair on fire the rest of the way, no matter what the record is or whatever kind of season he's having. It has not gone unnoticed in that clubhouse how much this guy cares, how hard he works. No, it hasn't been anywhere close to the kind of rookie season that he wanted or the team wanted, but a strong finish for him, I think, would go a long way and kind of remind everyone of the impact player that he can be. He's not there yet. He's got a long way to go. He's got to show this over much longer stretches. But this was a good sign in that he contributed in a bunch of different ways and hit the ball with some authority for the first time in a long time.
You know, you combine the fact that he missed so much time this season with his process stats overall actually having been pretty good. He has hit balls hard. There has been a definite element of bad luck in terms of his result stats not being good. And I think what to say with Dylan Cruz is we do need to see a lot more before we arrive at any, full definitive conclusions. That said, it's been rough so far. Number 2 overall pick in the 2023 MLB draft. He was supposed to be this near ready-made player, right? Golden Spikes Award winner at LSU. It was not going to take long for him to get to the majors, and you really hope that he could hit the ground running at the major league level. That has not happened. And, my biggest concern here is that while he may be a good player, he's not a special player. And the idea, the hope was that he would be a special player. He would be a franchise type player. I don't know that we can have real confidence that that's going to be the case, but we'll see. But he certainly can be a very good player, a very valuable player. And I just think we need to see more. I think, as much as it is frustrating to look at what has happened with him this season, he missed a lot of time. And I do think that we do still have to see that sample size grow. But yeah, the more good games he can have, the better. I think of all these Nats players down the stretch, I think I may have even said this previously. I think he's the one who matters the most here the rest of this season. Seeing him do well, and he did do well in this game, and it was nice to see that. And also doing well in this game, James Wood. He is the Nats starting left fielder and number 2 batter, 3 for 5 with 2 doubles, an RBI single, and a walk. C.J. Abrams had a good game. He is the Nats starting shortstop and number 1 batter, 2 for 5 with 2 doubles. Luis Garcia Jr. had a good game. He is the Nats starting second baseman and number 5 batter, 2 for 4 with a solo homer, a single, and 2 walks. Garcia in the Nats 1-run second had a leadoff first pitch home run to right field for a 1-0 Nats lead. The homer going a projected 413 feet per Statcast. The Nats' top 4 players in terms of qualified players in OPS for this regular season all had good games in this game. Number 1 is James Wood, 826. Number 2, C.J. Abrams, 778. Number 3, Josh Bell, 728. Number 4, Luis Garcia Jr. at 721. We have seen Garcia do some good things here lately. That homer was the latest.
That homer was an absolute bomb into the empty second deck at LoanDepot Park. There was nobody within 4 sections of where that ball landed, and it just sat there for a while. And I'm thinking to myself, they might come back on opening day next year and still be able to find that ball. Turns out, a few minutes later, some fans made the slow walk. They weren't rushing to get to it because there was nobody else going for it, but they went and retrieved the ball. And then Josh Bell hit one into the same area later on in the game. We know that Garcia has this ability to do this kind of stuff, and it's what's keeping him around because there's a lot of negatives, as we know, with him, especially on the defensive side, and we know how much of a free swinger he is. But when he does make contact, he does have this tendency to do some good things for you. And I think there's a fascinating question, and I'm sure we'll get to it before the end of the season, of where does he fit in moving forward? Can they count on him to be their second baseman again next year? If they're so concerned about the defense, would they consider him to be a first baseman? He's been taking some grounders. They're working on it. Is he a potential non-tender candidate in the offseason? There's a lot of questions to be had. And I think there's an argument on both sides of that equation of whether you think he can still be an important part of this thing moving forward. But a night like tonight reminds you there is still production in that bat and 2 walks. Luis Garcia drawing 2 walks. That's almost the headline right there.
26 walks for him here in this regular season. Luis Garcia Jr. as a batter does just enough to keep you interested. He does not do enough to make you certain, but he does just enough to keep you interested and keep you hopeful. I feel like that has been Garcia for years now, where the bat is never something that you can truly count on, but the bat is good enough and the numbers are good enough to where you're like, he's not bad. And he isn't bad. He's not a bad hitter. He's just not like what you would call a really good hitter. And so you're like, well, if you took him off second base and you made him a first baseman or a designated hitter, is the bat good enough for those spots? Not really. At the same time, you don't feel good about him with how bad the defense has been this season. I think that will be so interesting. Whatever the coaching staff for next season looks like, does that coaching staff and does the new front office view Garcia's defense as fixable? Because as we have discussed, last season, the defense wasn't that bad. So do you look at this season as an anomaly and the defense is fixable? If it is, then his offense plays very nicely as a second baseman. But if you don't think the defense is fixable, then you cannot have him at second base because that's a key defensive position, and his defense this season has been really bad.
Yeah, this is the dilemma that I'm sure they're going to be facing. And I want to believe that the improvements he showed last year are possible to get back again. But I also know that this has been a recurring theme with him, a slow first step, an inability to stay fully engaged all the time out there. And not that he's old, because he's still a young player, but he's not going to get any younger. And if you already have those kind of questions about his first step and his range at this age, or the odds of making that better as he gets older, is that going to happen or not? I don't know. I think it's a really fascinating question that they are going to have to confront here. I agree. I don't know that the move to first base would really make sense because I still think he's going to be a defensive liability there. We know that he doesn't have the reflexes and the range to make all the plays, and he doesn't have enough of a bat, a power bat certainly, to be that guy. So that's where I fall into this category of like, I don't think he's a first baseman, but can he play second base well enough to stay there? I don't know. I think this is really a real confounding dilemma, I think, for them as they look ahead to the offseason.
Hey, are you a law firm partner or associate looking for an upgrade from AAA to the majors? Don't be stuck in Rochester. Step up to the big leagues by getting the best legal recruiter in D.C. on your team, Mason Kalfas and his team of 10 legal recruiters at Zenith Legal in Washington, D.C. Many lawyers think that they are stuck at firms with inferior resources, management, or compensation, but it is still an active lateral market with top firms looking to poach talent from competitors. And unlike a prospect's move up to the majors, you will find the new firm can make your practice easier. Better resources, better cross-selling opportunities, and better branding to win business from prospective clients. Don't be stuck in Fredericksburg when you are a Washington, D.C. level talent in litigation, regulatory, or corporate legal practices. Mason Kalfas will discuss your practice and clients with you and help you find a better platform to increase your compensation and career trajectory. He has placed partners in over half of the AmLaw 100 law firms, and his candidates rave about the excellent service and their new jobs. Mason also is well known for working with senior government lawyers at the DOJ, SEC, and White House to find positions in top Washington, D.C. law firms. Check out his website today, zenithlegal.com, or call or text him anytime, 202-486-3535.
For over a century, Johnny Walker has shared its bold spirit with the game of golf. Now, crafted with Devereaux Golf, Johnny Walker introduces the Johnny Walker Blue Label-inspired Sunday Golf Bag, elevating the game with sleek design, Blue Label hues, and refined gold accents. Celebrate your hole-in-one with a premium Sunday bag crafted by Devereaux Golf. Submit proof of your achievement to johnnywalker.com/blue-in-1. Please drink responsibly.
Listen, life's all about leveling up. Whether you're handling business on the field or kicking it in your zone, you like to celebrate with cigars that match the moment. That's why you should link up with Famous Cigars to bring you a wild deal. Right now, you can grab 8 premium cigars for just $8. You heard that right. 8 top-rated cigars at $1 a stick. Top quality brands like Oliva, Romeo y Julieta, and Davidoff. Handpicked just for you and worth over $80. Hit up famouscigars.com/cam and lock in this exclusive deal. While you're there, check out their insane selection of premium cigars, all shipped fresh and fast from their massive 20,000 square foot humidor. That's half a football field. Famous Cigars has been in the game since 1939 and still family owned. So celebrate every win with the folks at Famous. 8 cigars for $8. famouscigars.com/cam.
Now pickoff play on at second. He's going to be out at second base. Jacob Marcia, slow reaction to Cade Cavalli, turning around with Garcia already at the bag, waiting. It's kind of they telegraphed the pickoff play, and he still got picked off.
Yeah, that was shocking. You described that perfectly because Garcia wanted the pickoff throw. Cavalli didn't throw it right away. Marcia actually took another step toward third, and Cade said, okay, well, I guess I'll go ahead and throw it.
Well, the Nats starting pitcher in this 15-7 win at the Marlins on Monday evening was Cade Cavalli. He did not have his best stuff, but he was effective. He allowed 2 runs in 5 innings. He gave up 6 hits, which were 2 doubles and 4 singles. He issued a walk. He recorded just 1 strikeout, but he did throw a lot of strikes, 61 pitches, 41 strikes, just 20 balls. It was actually a pretty interesting outing for him because the run prevention was good. The strikeout total was not good, but he threw a lot of strikes, and so he was able to navigate his way through this. And I'm presuming he was pulled after 61 pitches because the Nats are trying to get him through to the end of the season. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100%. You're probably not going to see him go more than 5 innings, I think, the rest of the way. He's up to 106 innings for the season, majors and minors combined. This is a huge deal for him to have made it this far. They don't want to take any chances with anything anything else. And so, yeah, I think you're going to see him very strictly on a 5-inning limit the rest of the way. I'd loved what he said when asked about the lack of swings and misses. Only 3 swings and misses that he got in the game. He said that can actually be a good thing sometimes because it means you're getting quick outs and it gives you the opportunity to go deeper in games. Now, he didn't, and he knows what their plan is, but he said, next year or at a different point in the season, they probably do let him go further. And he's at 61 after 5 innings. He's positioned to go way deeper into the game. So I liked that he saw value in a game where he maybe didn't have his best stuff and wasn't the strikeout pitcher that he is a lot of the time, that actually can still be a good thing and lead to some better results in other ways for him. And just the fact that facing the same Marlins team that he faced last week had success against. He's done this twice now, had the Phillies back-to-back, the Marlins back-to-back. Maybe the second start wasn't as good, but still pretty effective. And I think that's an important step for him as he, moves forward with all this, and that teams are going to start to see more of him and get a game plan against him, and he's able to still have success. That's really important.
Yeah, the Nats are in the midst of this bizarro run in terms of the schedule. Faced the Phillies twice in 3 series. Now we're facing the Marlins twice in 3 series. And in a few weeks, we'll be facing the Atlanta Braves twice in 3 series. So, you see an opponent who you haven't seen in a while, and then you see him again just a short time later. But yeah, Cavalli, like you said, second consecutive good outing against the Marlins. And this is off him getting rocked in that outing at the New York Yankees. Cavalli on August 27th, 8 runs, 7 earned in 2 1/3 innings in the Nats 11-2 loss at the Yankees. But Cavalli and that Nats 5-2 win over the Marlins at Nationals Park last Tuesday evening, September 2nd. 2 runs, 5 innings, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. So, really, aside from that start at the Yankees, Cavalli has done well. This has been an unequivocal success. The Nats recalling him from AAA Rochester took a lot longer than anyone ever wanted. But I don't know, given the way things had been going with him, given the way that things have gone with this Nats season, that you could have anticipated this. This has been a success. Cade Cavalli at the major league level this season.
Yeah, let's remember when they called him up, he was not pitching all that well. And there was this question of, did he actually earn his way up here, or do they just need somebody? Well, getting up here, he has proven that he was ready for this. I think that's been huge and a great sign to see that the stuff works and plays for him. The other thing that I know meant something to him in this case, he has been to Marlins Park a bunch of times the last 3 years because he was rehabbing in West Palm Beach at their spring training site. So every time the Nats would be in town in Miami, he'd come down, check in with them, maybe throw in front of the coaching staff, get some treatment, see everyone. It meant something to him when he walked into this ballpark before Monday night's game and realizing he's not just here to work on stuff. He's here to pitch in a big league game. And then he went out and won it. You could tell that meant something to him. He is distancing himself further and further from the injury and the super long rehab. He is so excited to be pitching every 5th day, to feel good, and to be pitching well on top of that. I know it took way longer than anybody wanted, but knock on wood, the end result of all this has been awfully positive so far.
Yeah, the 2 most frequent visitors of LoanDepot Park in recent years, Cade Cavalli and Bobby Blanco. But Mark very gracefully has decided to grace LoanDepot Park with his presence here at LoanDepot for the first time in 3 years. And I know you're loving it. By the way, I have to say this. I find it almost comical that the MLB schedule gave you and the Nats Wrigley Field and then LoanDepot Park, right? You go from one of the palaces of MLB to probably the worst venue in MLB. You go from, a mansion to, living in a creek, going from Wrigley Field to LoanDepot Park. That is quite the juxtaposition, these 2 venues on this road trip.
As enjoyable as the weekend in Chicago was, and as much as I'd been looking forward to that one and did enjoy it, I knew in the back of my mind that the downside was coming. 4 night games at LoanDepot Park, and they announced 7,900 fans at this game. I'm telling you, there were at most 1,000 to 1,500 fans here, and it is such a weird feeling. You hear everything. Every ball off the bat sounds like a cannon being shot off. It is such an unfortunate scene. It's not good. But credit to the Nats because they came out and played well, and they weren't affected at all by the scene or the situation here. And it's going to be 4 nights of this. It's a long series, a bunch of night games. Nobody's going to be here. But Right now, the Nats are taking full advantage of the Marlins. The Marlins may save the Nats from 100 losses in the end because they've now gone 4-0 against them here in September with 3 more to go.
If there was a negative for the Nats in this 15-7 win at the Marlins on Monday evening, the negative was the bullpen. 2 Nats relievers combined to allow 5 runs in 4 innings. Orlando Revolta, 2 scoreless and hitless innings, 2 strikeouts, did issue 3 walks, so all of which came in a scoreless bottom of the 7th. And Shinosuke Ogasawara, 5 runs in 2 innings. He gave up 2 home runs, a double and a single, and issued 2 walks. I mean, the game was never really in doubt from a Nationals perspective, but unfortunate to see Ogasawara, who had been doing so well, give up some runs here lately, and this was not a good outing for him on Monday night.
No, that was very disappointing. You're hoping he just cruises through those last couple innings, gets the game over with, and instead give quite a bit of contact. The walks from both him and Revolta, I think that's 5 combined walks between the two of them. When you have a lead of that much, just throw the ball over the plate, make them hit it. Now, I mean, Ogasawara did do that eventually and then give up 2 home runs, so didn't have either thing going for him in this one. Hopefully it's just a blip, and maybe he is actually a little better in a higher leverage situation than this one was. The best news of the day is they won the game and only used 2 relievers, and it was 2 members of the B bullpen, so to speak. They didn't have to burn up any of the important guys.
Yeah, as we have talked about, the Nats are in the midst of a stretch of 14 games in 13 days. Next week, we'll have a stretch of 4 games in 3 days against the Atlanta Braves at Nationals Park, September 15th through the 17th. Hey, a great supporter of the Nats Chat podcast for years now has been Window Nation. If you want new windows, if you need new windows, contact Window Nation. Tell Window Nation that Al Galdi from the Nats Chat podcast sent you. That helps out this podcast a lot, and that gets you a great deal on great Window Nation windows. In fact, now is the best time of year to get new windows. Whether you have old, drafty windows or cheap builder-grade windows, September is the perfect month to protect your home from cooler weather. And right now, Window Nation is offering its most popular offer: buy 2 replacement windows, get 2 for free. Plus, you won't pay any interest, pay any monthly payments, or pay any down payment for 2 years. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com and tell Window Nation that you want the deal that you heard about from Al Galdi on the Nats Chat podcast. With Window Nation, you get top quality windows from a trusted company, all at a reasonable price, because Window Nation knows that replacing windows is an investment, and Window Nation wants to make the investment affordable to you. And do not miss this great offer from Window Nation. For listeners of the Nats Chat podcast, the offer is good until September 30th. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and you pay nothing for 2 years. 866-90-NATION or windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION or windownation.com. And tell Window Nation that Al Galdi from the Nats Chat podcast sent you.
On Fox 1, you can stream your favorite news, sports, and entertainment live, all in one app.
It's raw
and unfiltered.
This is the best thing ever.
Watch breaking news as it breaks.
Breaking tonight, we're following 2 major stories.
And catch history in the making. Debates, drama, touchdown. It's all here, baby. Fox 1, we live for live. Streaming now.
If you're a custodial supervisor at a local high school, you know that cleanliness is key, and that the best place to get cleaning supplies is from Grainger. Grainger helps you stay fully stocked on the products you trust, from paper towels and disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Plus, you can rely on Grainger for easy reordering, so you never run out of what you need. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's a little concerning, but we gotta look for the best. What is the best for him? And right now, he's experienced a little headache, and we're just gonna wait to see, how he feels tomorrow and all that stuff. But we just gotta wait and see.
All right, some injury updates on the Nats. There is some good news regarding 2 starting pitchers in MacKenzie Gore and Josiah Gray, but the biggest item would seem to be the latest on catcher Keibert Ruiz, pulled from his minor league rehab assignment due to him having experienced a recurrence of mild headaches. That is troubling.
It's really troubling, and he took another foul ball off the face mask on Thursday. It happened in the 2nd inning of that game. That was the 3rd game of the rehab assignment, his 2nd game behind the plate. Now, here's the thing. It happened in the 2nd inning. He stayed out there and caught all the way through the 6th which was the plan all along. Now, maybe he wasn't experiencing any symptoms in the moment and said, I can keep going. If I'm the Nationals, I'm telling Delino Shields, the AA manager, and their training staff, any sign of anything, you get him out of there. It's not worth it. I don't love the fact that he finished that game out and then clearly at some point, whether it was later that night or the next day, reported the headaches. And so he was supposed to catch again Friday, DH Saturday, catch again 9 innings. On Sunday, he did none of that. They've pulled him back from the rehab. He's going to come down here to Miami to meet with the team and get looked at again and try to come up with a plan of action. You never say never. I know they're really taking this day to day right now with him, but I find it hard to believe that they would be willing to put him back out there in a game situation the rest of the season. And where do you go from here? It's another huge question. You feel terrible for him, first and foremost, but as an organization, they are going to have to confront some serious questions right now about how they proceed with him. Can they feel comfortable putting him behind the plate in a competitive situation? Is he willing to do that? I can only imagine what's going on through his own psyche right now. And then if not that, well, where do you go from here? He's still got 5 years left on the contract. There are some significant questions. And obviously, that's secondary to just how he's feeling. And you hope that the headaches go away and it's not something that continues to linger. But really a negative development in that regard when it seemed like things were headed in the right direction, but all it takes is one. And to see him get hit in the face again with a foul ball like that, it makes you cringe. I can only imagine what he's feeling right now.
I don't know what they knew and when they knew what they know, but him staying in that game is malpractice. I mean, that is just inexcusable. So, with the caveats of, again, maybe there's some context here that makes it more understandable. Boy, on the surface, that seems so bad. This goes back to late June, Keibert Ruiz and this head issue. June 24th, the Nats announced having put him on the 10-day injured list with a head contusion. June 27th, he got transferred to the 7-day concussion injured list. July 4th, he was reinstated from that 7-day concussion IL. But July 8th, the Nats announced having put Ruiz back on the 7-day concussion IL, retroactive to July 6th. And he has been on that 7-day concussion IL ever since. Like you said, his health comes first, but with the contract, 8 years, $50 million, a contract extension signed a couple of years ago. We remember what went on with the Steven Strasburg contract from the perspective of the team and insurance. Do you think with a smaller big money contract, the team might have insurance to take care of a deal like this if, in fact, he can't continue playing? Or is that hard to say? Is it too situation to situation to know that?
Yeah, I honestly don't know, and it's not something I've ever even inquired about. I would say that generally speaking, and my understanding of it is that teams only take out insurance policies on the big contracts because it's just too cost prohibitive to do it otherwise. And so I'm going to guess that that's a no, that they wouldn't have it on this. I have no idea if this goes down that path and he's truly unable to play anymore. I have no idea what those conversations would be like, but it's not an apples to apples comparison. It's a very different type of injury, obviously, but it would be so unfortunate and so sad if this ultimately, does him in. But if nothing else, we know it is career altering. Even if he came back and said he feels well again, I have a hard time seeing him as a full-time number one catcher in the big leagues. There's so much risk. And we know with these things, the more concussions you suffer, the more dramatic it gets, the more dangerous it gets. And so I would hope on both sides of that equation that they'd be very much against that. I mean, we're getting way ahead of ourselves here. Let's see how this all proceeds over the next few days and the last few weeks of the season. But it has become a huge question for them now to confront as they head into the winter. What are they comfortable doing? What are the doctors telling them? What does Ruiz himself want to do? And I know he keeps saying he wants to be a catcher and do this again, but at some point you have to acknowledge the risk involved in that. We've seen some great players, some great catchers give up on it for this very reason. You don't want to ever let it get to a point that you suffer one more concussion that causes something really serious to happen that affects you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and there's also the reality, and this is just the truth, right? He has not exactly thrived as a catcher. So, there's also that component here. But no doubt, I mean, Joe Mauer is one of the best catchers of the last, 25, 30 years. Concussion problems are what wrecked Joe Mauer's career and ended up completely changing his career. MacKenzie Gore and Josiah Gray, what's the latest on them?
Much better news in both those cases. Gore is throwing a bullpen session on Tuesday here in Miami. Great news says that the shoulder is fine. That leaves the door open for him to come back and pitch before the end of the year. Josiah Gray, after his rehab start for Wilmington on Sunday, everything came out of that well as far as his physical condition, how his arm felt. He threw 34 pitches, and he's now scheduled to make his next one on Saturday for Harrisburg. My understanding is, barring any setbacks there, he could then go to Rochester the next week. Each level of the minors, their season ends one before the other. So that was it for Wilmington. Harrisburg has one more week. Rochester has the week after that. The unknown is if he gets through all that and does well with Rochester, that's now 3 rehab starts. The minor league season is over. There's 1 week left in the big league season. Would they bring him back and activate him to make one start down the stretch? I don't know the answer to that. As we've said, I don't think it's necessary, but certainly it would be a feel-good thing for Josiah heading into the offseason. We'll see. They've got a couple more steps, but by all accounts, everything went well on Saturday, and that's the most important thing.
Would be nice to see. Like you said, I don't know that it changes anything, but certainly would be nice to see Josiah Gray pitch at the major league level this season. Game 2 for the Nats at the Marlins Tuesday evening at 6:40. Mitchell Parker will be the Nats starting pitcher, as there will be postseason implications, ? Again, we'll let you decide. You tell us what you think. Hit us up on X at Nats_chat. You can find us on Blue Sky at Nats Chat Podcast. We offer shout-outs on the Nats Chat Podcast. If you would like to send a hello, a congratulations, a happy birthday, a happy anniversary to someone who listens to the podcast, contact the man who runs the podcast, Tim Shovers. He'll let you know what goes into the shout-out. Email us, natschatpodcast@gmail.com. All Nationals radio highlights on Nats Chat are courtesy of 106.7 The Fan. For Mark Zuckerman, I'm Al Galdi. We thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time on the Nats Chat Podcast.
Bell right-handed, 147 of the year, 14 hits, 3 homers. Much better than the earlier part of the year. It swings and drives one. Deep left center field. Way back there. This may go. And it is caught. Goodbye. Bang. Zoom goes Josh Bell for the second straight day with his 4th home run of the year batting right-handed. And his 18th home run overall. A 2-run shot here in the top of the 6th inning. And the Nationals are in double digits here tonight in Miami. It's now the Nationals 10 and the Marlins 2.
Weight loss solutions are not one size fits all. Hers makes it simpler to get started and stick with a weight loss plan, backed by expert-guided online care that puts your weight loss goals first. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full up front. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com. Apply.